Welcome to Mobile Class Academy. Your success is our priority. This is our literature in English class, and our goal here is to help you understand the meaning of literature using a simple explanatory approach, as well as analyzing literary works to drive home our message. So, get your pen and paper while you take active part in the class. The question is, what is literature? What is literature? We've been hearing the word literature all the time. And some have even said that any written material is literature. How far is this true? These are some of the things we would likely be looking at as far as this subject is concerned. So, what do you think that literature is? Now, like most subjects, there is one basic or one unique or one generally accepted definition about those subjects. So, with one definition, you can simply tell that this is what this subject is, right? But in literature, it should be made clear from the beginning that there is no real agreement or consensus about what the definition of literature should be. There is no what? There is no generally acceptable definition of what literature should be. You should also know that some of the definitions of literature given by different scholars are largely according to their wealth of life experience within their location. So what we're trying to say in essence is this, that there are so many definitions about literature depending on the experience of the individuals. Depending on what? On the experience or the experiences of individuals. So I can afford now to give my own definition of literature. It showcases what I understand. In trying to couch out my own definition of literature, I'm simply trying to tell you what I understand about life, what I have seen, what I have experienced, what I know is what I would explain or I would put down at what I understand by literature. That is literature. So there is no simple definition about what literature is or what literature should be, right? So as a result of that simple explanation that I've just given you, you will find out that there are numerous definitions of literature. So before we move further, let us consider literature both on its broad and narrow planes. So what we are going to do in this class now is to look at literature from the narrow view or narrow perspective and from the broad view. So how have we been able to define what literature is? Literature perhaps started with man discovering his ability to create. Literature has to do with creation. It has to do with what? Creation. Perhaps started with man's discovery of his ability to create. When this happened, he realized that he could not only express his emotions in spoken or written words, but in the process convey messages of importance to society, carefully hidden in beautiful words. Do you understand that now? I'm trying to give you a background about how literature comes about. Literature has to do with the ability to do what? To create life, to create meaning, to express oneself, emotions to others. It has to do with what? Creation. And that creation has to do with life. Things happen in life generally. But the use of literature enables us preserve these histories. Do you understand that? So literature helps us to do what? To create. So when man discovered that he could create, he decided that he could play with words. Man decided that he could play with words to entertain people who would read them, who would listen to them. In the olden days, we discovered that there were moonlight stories to while away time. There were festivals to entertain people. The essence, the reason for the festivals we have within our societies were designed to entertain people. They were what? Designed to entertain people. Stories were created to while away time, to teach morals, to teach lessons, to make people understand what is happening within their environment, their society. That is how literature originated. In the early days. Practically what we have were oral literatures. Literatures that were narrated through the words of mouth. These are literature. So literature practically has to do with life events, life lessons, life incidents. You understand that now? So in the olden days, we have so many festivals that were practically designed to entertain people, to teach people lessons. So people in different parts of the world use different languages and writing in different periods of time. They use different languages and different writing in different periods of time, tackled literature differently. So the literature of a typical Yoruba person is totally different from the literature of an Igbo origin. The literature of the Yoruba race is also totally different from the literature of the Hausa race. Okay, same goes for Africa. The literature of a typical African is different from that of a European or Britain or American. This literature from different parts of the country depicts what happens in that area, that geographical location. So literature of a typical African person depicts the life experiences of African person. So our literature here in Africa tells us more about the incidences, the life experiences, the history of an African person. Okay? So this is literature. I hope I've been able to give you a background knowledge of literature.